Welcome back to Quick Resume episode 7, everybody. My name is Deck. I'm your host. I'm joined by my co host, the Technomancer, the Hunting Horn main. His name is Tim.
What an intro!
I thought it
Amazing.
was good. I thought it was pretty good.
I wish we had some I was going to say laughter, but that wouldn't work. Some canned applause. So
Just some
for me to
stock.
come in on.
Yeah, like royalty free, like a Wilhelm scream every time.
Yeah. Oh, introducing
Just on a
Tim.
screen, yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
That was pretty spot on Wilhelm screen.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. Hello. It's good to be back. Another Friday, another episode. I'm excited.
Excited. That's good. That's good. High energy levels. I'm actually. Last week I felt like a zombie. This week I look like a zombie, but I actually feel pretty good this week. I think I've actually just slept like a human being this week. So I'm feeling pretty good, man. How are you feeling? Other than feeling a little bit excited.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty tired. It's pretty long week, After the bank holiday one, it's a full week. That one hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I think we were both pretty tired last week. I think the general vibe was quite tired and quite relaxed last week.
Yeah.
And it showed because we literally like logged off to go play some Outriders afterwards, and I think we were in bed by ticking midnight.
Yeah.
I think we were both pretty exhausted.
It was the sleepy episode. The sleepy
It was
special.
definitely, yeah. We're gonna go back and put it in brackets as the sleepy episode.
Yeah, just so everybody knows.
Just so everyone can find it easier, They're like, oh, I can't find the sleepy episode. It's the only one I want to. What? I watched it 6 times. I want to watch it at 7.
It's like a special edition, isn't it? People do
Yeah.
drunk versions, Oh, like while I'm cooking, this is Quick Resume while we're sleeping. And it's exactly the same,
Yeah.
but we just slur every now and then.
Yeah. And
Yawn on
exactly.
the mic.
Yeah, that's the best. That's how you know it's a good podcast, when it picks up your yawns.
Yeah. And we just say yeah after each other's sentences because we're not really listening. We're just thinking
Yeah.
about going to bed. Yeah.
Hey, that's my thing, man.
Yeah.
Don't take that from me. Stop! It's my thing. You give them the news and I just say yeah.
Fuck
But
yeah,
yes,
man.
yeah, so better this week.
Good.
Raring to go. So
Oh, sick. All right. So,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we've had quite an eventful week in our, even outside of the news of the Xbox world, of the gaming world. It's been a bit of a weird one, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't really know where to start.
You were the catalyst to this. You caused
Now,
it all.
that sounds like blame. And I'm not. I'm hearing blame.
Yeah, it's because it is blame.
Okay, right. Well, so the story is, you might have remembered us sort of talking about Outriders a bit last week and saying, oh, it's a bit buggy, but we're still having a good time. That night, actually, I think it was that night. I just got this sick new legendary, right? Assault rifle. It was fucking great. I was beaming kids, shooting aliens with those shit aiming mechanics. But it was good. I was having a great time. We just hit endgame. We're doing expeditions, doing a great time. Then some weird shit happens. Yoinks me across the map to go to my friends. One of them, who is obviously on this podcast right now. And I go to pull out my weapon. Where is it? And it wasn't one of these inventory wipes that I know everybody knows it's been a week and everybody knows inventory wipes are a thing on Outriders, which is fucking stupid. But,
Yeah.
And the weapon's gone. My legendary weapon's gone. The one that I dropped it like 5 times into my friend. I was like, I'm having such a good time with this. Like it was almost like, man,
Yeah.
it'd be such a shame if anything was to happen to this gun.
Yeah,
because I'm having so much fun with it.
It was. He literally kept saying it, and I was like, "Good for you, man. This is great." And we were even saying, like you were saying as well, it's probably the most fun you've had on Outriders that night. And yeah, I feel like you just set yourself up, man. I don't know. The universe just decided to just take a right hook right into your jaw.
It was. I'm still recovering.
So
it's horrible. Yeah. So I lost the gun, and then like on the back of that, I was like, I was bummed out, but like whatever, we'll get over it. Like we just hit endgame, so we just start tinkering with mods, which is what made it kind of like fun and like a fun evening of Outriders. But then I logged back on and I realised that the game won't let me equip another weapon. So I'm like, the weapon slot's busted. So I was like, okay, that's pushed me over the line. I'm not playing this game anymore. It's too buggy. It's fucking stupid. And as it turns out, I found out yesterday that was something you could. There's a workaround for by just picking up another weapon off the floor. To be fair, I haven't tested it, but I read it online on on Reddit. But either way, I lost my weapon, which still is ridiculous. So in that gap, since moving on from Outriders and essentially, well, you heard it all here. Since I've been blamed for pulling my friends away from Outriders, we all moved onto Monster Hunter. So we're a Nintendo Switch Monster Hunter podcast now. Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah. If you don't like Monster Hunter, fair warning, is a timestamp for you. If you don't like Monster Hunter, fuck off.
But you probably should. I mean, and to be fair, the way I'm going to try and tie this in just by saying, if you haven't played Monster Hunter before, go play Monster Hunter go play Monster Hunter World. That's on all consoles. Boom, including Xbox. Boom, done.
Yeah.
Now we can play both sides of the field. Easy game.
Yeah, exactly. GG. Segue. We're in. Nice.
So that's what happened.
Yeah, so
we all bought Monster Hunter, didn't we, on our Switch? Started playing that.
Yeah, we did.
And how's that been for you?
That's it's been pretty great. So I mean, like you said, we were really into Outriders. We just hit the end game, which is the sweet spot. That's kind of what you strive for when you play these sort of games. You kind of just grind through the amazing storytelling, just truly incredible. Like when that ended, I was pretty upset. But so you get through that, and then you get to the point where you start making your builds and you start thinking about what you want to do. And like the latest piece of armors you get, you actually mod them and stuff like that. So I was enjoying it, but obviously that happened, and like you said, we got Monster Hunter. But it's been fun. It has been really fun. We're huge fans of the franchise, the IP that is Monster Hunter. I'm pretty sure in the first episode I said it was like probably my favorite all-time sort of gaming series. We've been playing it since first iteration of the PSP. I think Monster Hunter Freedom 2, we both picked it up. I think we both had Freedom, but we didn't play it that much. But yeah, Freedom 2, and then obviously all the ones after.
Freedom Unite.
Yeah, Freedom Unite,
like the one.
Yeah, Freedom Unite was the one we went hard on. Yeah, that was like, we did Freedom 2 a lot, because Freedom 2 was the one that had the front cover with the Tiger X and the snowy mountains.
Yeah, that's right.
Like we played that one a lot.
The popos.
Yeah, exactly. That sinking feeling. And then we were playing it. We got all the sort of most of the Nintendo DS ones. And obviously we love World as well. World was the best Monster Hunter, and after playing Rise, hot take, it's not really a hot take, but World is still a better Monster Hunter in my opinion. Rise is great, but yeah, World is just a little bit better. But yeah, talking about Rise, it's super awesome, and I think it's probably one of the best games you can buy on Switch at the moment. I think it's one of the best looking games you can buy on Switch at the moment. I think it looks actually way better than I thought it would, graphically. It performs amazing, like no frame drops at all. It runs at 30, doesn't it? It's definitely not 60. Yeah, Switch can't hit 60. It runs at a pretty solid 30 all the time. And yeah, it's just pretty great. And I was kind of bummed out when we had to move away from Outriders, but we've been super grinding it. I'm pretty sure we bought it Saturday night, didn't we? It was Saturday night your game bugged out.
Yeah.
Because then we grinded the shit out of it on the Sunday, didn't we? Because we downloaded it at like midnight on Saturday. And I think so. We basically started playing it on Sunday, and today is Friday, and I have over a day in it already in game time. So a lot of that is sort of sitting and leaving the lobby open while I went to dinner on loads of occasions. So it's not like, you could probably say I've done like 20 hours or something, maybe less. But yeah, it's been great. How have you been? How have you been liking it? How have you been liking playing with me? I mean, it's pretty good just playing with me,
Oh, of course.
right?
Yeah, obviously, as Tim says, it's Monster Hunter is an absolute favorite of ours. It's one we've been playing for absolute years, and it's just one that we like. We never really say no to anything. We've bought every iteration that we can, other than like the ones because they do this weird thing. If you don't know, Nintendo have this weird relationship with Capcom who make it where the games will go on, but maybe PlayStation, oh, maybe Nintendo, oh, maybe every console. So World was like the first game, Monster Hunter, that was like mainline consoles, and we used to pray for the day that we got a Monster Hunter on like an Xbox or just like one of the mainline consoles. We always said that like if a Monster Hunter mainline one got announced for the PS4, last gen, like we would have bought a PS4 for it. Like it's that important to that's how much we enjoy the series. But yeah, Rise has, it is really good. I think it's nice that now the series seems to have kind of found its footing a little bit because it's always had trouble finding being accessible to like a more casual market, and it's found its footing after World. Like World definitely cemented it in that ballpark, and it's just really nice to see it there. So. Rise is just kind of a continuation of that with a couple of extra funny bits that they do, and it performs weirdly well. I don't know what they've done, but it performs weirdly well. I do get like a frame rate drop every now and then, but it's no big deal, and it's not frequent. And they do I don't really know what to call it. It's like distance scaling on the frames. That's why you see stuff in the background like running at like 15 frames, but like it's really no biggie when everything happening in the first half of the screen, like what you're primarily watching is 60s. It's I understand like there are compromises you have to make on the Switch, and I just feel like they've optimized it, but like the decisions they made for it were really good. It's not the prettiest game. It's for what it is, it's pretty good.
I think it is very pretty. I think the color palette in that game is fantastic. I think all the monsters are very vibrant and the maps are very bright. I actually really like it. Obviously, you look at. I looked at like a video in World, and I was just like, "Wow, World looks good." I was like, "That game it's very very beautiful," but like, so yeah, you can't obviously compare the two, but I think it looks a lot better than I thought it would, especially when I was looking at screenshots on like the eShop and stuff like that. And the load times are snappy as well. You're in like 5 seconds less.
It just looks quite good in motion because like the animation team for the Monster Hunter games are just really good. So generally Monster Hunter games look really good in motion. But like, I don't know. I think it's good for a Switch game, I guess is what I would say. Like I do play it sometimes, and I'm like this. Like there are parts of that game where I'm like, this looks bad, and there's no way around it. But it's like overall the game looks serviceable to good. But like there are parts of it where I'm like, where's the texture on? Like, do you know what I mean? And I think it's just because like I have become like snobby and like looking at things like that, coming obviously going from the Series X. So like I do pick up on stuff like that. And when you see stuff flapping in the distance, like a PowerPoint presentation, you're like, like I know that that's there, that's fine, but you notice it, and it breaks your immersion a bit. But it performs weirdly well, and like the load times are really like weirdly quick.
Yeah.
But my other gripe. So this is my thing. Monster Hunter is fucking such an amazing series, and it just gets better with every iteration, and they experiment with stuff and this, that, and the other. Why does it go on the Switch? Because this is what we always used to say. Like 10 years ago when we would play it on the PSP, we'd be like, "Why is this game going on PSP? This is not a game that's suitable for portable play." Like it is so weird because, and I understand it's big in the Japanese market, and in the Japanese market, portable devices are the common thing. That's fine, whatever. I get that. But like even the game, like fundamentally from a conceptual level, you're going out on hunt. Like nowadays, it's a bit more forgiving. But like back on the PSP days, when like some of these hunts would take you like half an hour to 45 minutes, You gotta just whip that out and like start playing it, and they're intense. It's not like an easy
Yeah,
an easy thing you can do like while doing something else. So to me, it's always been a game series which like deserves a full like home console experience, and the Switch
absolutely.
is kind of a weird compromise. Because obviously it does a bit of both, but more so it like really draws attention to Nintendo's like fucking reluctance to be involved with anything past 2005 in terms of like online services. Why isn't there a live chat on Nintendo Online? Why can I not speak to people? Why is there not Bluetooth on the Switch? Why can I not connect? Like, it's just so annoying. And like, because I've like since we've been playing and I've been really into it, I bought an adapter so I can use my Elite Series 2 on the Switch, which works great, but the adapter is 50 quid, so that's like what, $75 or something like that. So it's not cheap, but and it works really, really well, and I can use it on PlayStation as well if I ever get a PS5, and I can use it on my PS4 that I own. So that's all fine and dandy, but maybe it's a preference thing, but I don't find it easy to aim with the Switch. I don't find the Switch remotes particularly comfortable. They're fine. It's just fine, and then, and that's the worst part, I would say, is the fact that I can't, like, because we're talking over Xbox, which is the dumbest thing. It's so dumb. Like, we're playing on Switch.
Series X is a party machine.
Yeah, exactly. With our Series X was all turned on and just sat in a party and like on a different channel on our TV. Like, it's so stupid. It's absolutely infuriating. And I can't. Obviously, you're quite fortunate in that yours has you have a receiver, so you can plug that into your TV and plug your headset wired into the Switch. Are you playing it portable?
No. No.
Oh, you've got it docked.
So it's a dock, and the optical in just goes straight into my TV. So it just takes the TV output for whatever source channel I'm on.
I see.
But it's also plugged into my Xbox at the same time, so that's why I get the party chat through on my Xbox, and I also get the audio from whatever source I'm on. If that makes sense, it does both.
Does it just connect to the Xbox wirelessly through the receiver?
No. I've got a USB plugged into the back of my Xbox. That's what the dock is in, and then it's an optical going into my actual TV. So I'm very fortunate where I get the source audio and I can still hear you guys in the party. So really, it's no different to me apart from the horrible thought of my big chunky Xbox Series X just being on the homepage running a party.
Have you got a dynamic background on there? At least that's running. That's crispy 4K. Yeah,
exactly.
So like I think like it's one of those things where it's like this game, and like and these are like co-op games. Like fundamentally, these games you can play them solo, but they're so good co-op. Like they're amazing, and like I know there are some Switch games which now support in-game chat, which you can just connect to and like you can speak in game. Rise doesn't support it. Why doesn't Rise support it? Why doesn't Monster Hunter support it? It's like that would have solved all my problems. I mean, maybe the in-game chat would have been a bit shit, but it would have made my life so much easier. So anyway, I've gone out and I've now bought a Bluetooth adapter for another 30 quid, which I've like plugged into the dock for the Switch, and that works fine and dandy. I tried it earlier, and it worked fine. So I've got my little Anchor SoundCloud wireless headphones, and so I'm just going to wear that under my actual headphones for party. So I'll have one ear for party chat, and essentially one ear for audio, and it's just stupid. I hate it fucks me off, man.
It's so stupid. I just don't understand why we're in 2021, why we can't have why the Switch let's be honest, it is a home console. It's a home console. It's a home console that can go portable.
Exactly.
So there's no reason why. Like, sure, they have a fucking app I can download and then I can talk to you, but then I could just fucking call you on WhatsApp. I'm still not getting the audio of my game also, like, on the same thing. It's like, it's separate. They're two different things. I'm actually dumbfounded to actually think about it. I've never actually sort of stopped.
If you had to Google the things I had to Google over the last week, you would be in a state of utter confusion. Like
Are
I'm
we
literally
talking
sat here thinking, like,
3
how
a.m.
do I?
Google? Or?
What? No, I'm just sat here like, how do I speak over Nintendo Switch Online? Like, it's so stupid. It's 2021. Like, it's so annoying. Oh god, it
Yeah.
really annoys me. And it's like, you know, PlayStation, but you know, it's even more so Xbox. They're like not even a year, you know, not even like a generation ahead. They're like thousands of like light years ahead of Nintendo in this, and I don't know why they're not even. It's not even remotely comparable. Like, it's so annoying, and it's like getting used to like the convenience of Xbox, which has been something like they've been amazing at, you know, over the last decade. It's just been getting better and better and better. And then going to the Switch, it's like, fuck me, like none of this is intuitive. None of it works. You have to buy shit to make it work, and it's just so annoying.
Plus the subscription is just, for a subscription that fucking shitty, you would expect it to be free.
Yeah,
you actually have to pay
yeah.
monthly for it as well. It's so.
I don't even
shit.
know what I'm paying for. It's just red tape to allow me to play online. I already pay for Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Like, why am I paying you?
Yeah, no, it is. Like, it genuinely is. That's all it is. It's just red tape to play online. That's all it is. But you can download an app and talk to your friends, and it's just, it's a fucking cop-out, dude. It's shit. This is why we're not a fucking Switch podcast. Like, the Switch is great. Like, don't get me wrong, I really love this console. There's a reason why I bought one. But in terms of this, and just like, yeah, just the compatibility and the multiplayer aspect of things, it's so garbage. It's unreal.
It's so
I use my Switch to play
exclusives.
I was about to say Sword and Shield. I use it to play Slay the Spire. I use it to play Hades. You know, all these sort of indie games. It's basically my indie game machine that I can play when I'm having a poop.
Yeah, that's
while
important.
I'm shooting poopies.
Yeah, that is important.
But, and to be fair, I have played Monster Hunter on the crapper. It was pretty great.
Oh,
yeah, it looks pretty good. But yeah, so it's a fantastic console, and I do love Rise, and I do think it has a place on the Switch. I do think Nintendo are like, you know, let's go back to our roots. Let's give our home console an iteration of a franchise that was born on our platform. But
no,
they need to.
First.
They need to. That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
So the Monster Hunter just gets passed around like a slut. Like, I don't know what happens.
It's
with
the slut
weird.
of but like, and it's also weird when you take into account the world obviously just smashed all their sales records for the franchise, and it was also just Capcom in general's fastest and most selling game of all time, and Capcom have been around since I was but a fetus, but an organism, but yeah, so it's very weird that they decided to again just bottleneck themselves to one platform. Like, why not just put all your resources and like develop World 2 or something like that? It's a weird call. I'm not in charge of Nintendo, believe it or not. I know a lot of people think that, and I get a lot of tweets.
Not?
But I'm not in charge.
Pulling the strings.
No.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not upset that Rise is a thing because I love it. But it has its quirks. And yeah.
I guess there's a part of me that's like, now that I know it's being on Xbox, I'm like, I like this game, but I prefer it on my Xbox. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like, I know what these games can be like, and like, you know, I said this the other day, like, Monster Hunter World, it's still one of the best looking games of last gen. Like, it's such a good looking game. Like, it's a dream come true for like Monster Hunter nerds like us who have like been waiting for something like that. And don't get me wrong, that they've made some gameplay improvements for Rise over World, but they always do that. But it's just the fact that it's like, yeah, like, this game would be good, but better. Like, they wouldn't lose anything from being on another console. You know, I don't play this game portable because it's not a portable fucking like game I want to play. It's just So yeah.
Yeah, I always have horrible memories of playing it portable. Not horrible, but like, I remember when we were kids. There's one memory that sticks out in particular when I think we went on holiday together. I went away with you and your family. Obviously, we were quite young at this point, and we were fighting the Yama, you know, a giant squid thing. and
I
we were on the
remember this.
we were on a
On the
ferry
fucking
traveling to
ferry, dude.
France on the
Yeah.
ferry. Yes, and then it was just like we were hunting it like in like the main sort of like cafeteria area or something, and then your
Mm.
parents were like, "We got to go, like we've got to drive off. This thing's like whatever." So we had to
Sinking.
like run and play and get into the car and do all of this while hunting like one of the end game monsters.
Yeah.
And yeah, that memory just always sticks out to me. But yeah, so I don't know. But for anyone that hasn't played Monster Hunter, anyone that's listening and hasn't played Monster Hunter, I actually would recommend Rise as your first Monster Hunter. To be brutally honest, it is the most forgiving Monster Hunter. It's definitely got a lot of sort of I don't want to say newbie mechanics, but it's a lot more first time friendly, and it's not as hard and it's not as JRPG as the other ones, I would say. If you were looking to play a Monster Hunter for the first time, the world is obviously more accessible because it's on every platform, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. But if you have a Switch, I would probably recommend Rise over it, just based on the fact of just easing you in. And then if you're like, oh, I like this formula, you put some time into Rise, then obviously I can recommend World more. It is kind of better in most ways. It's like 80% better. There's like a few things Rise does better. But yeah, obviously I don't want to spend the whole podcast talking about Monster Hunter, but I thought that's just maybe a good point to end it on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
anyone looking, but I mean, would you agree with that? Like, or would you say World? You would still recommend World over it? But like I said, based on
yeah,
the
do you know
fact of
what?
World being more accessible.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, they're probably about the same, realistically. It's probably trivial, the difference between them to a newcomer. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think either are probably really good. The biggest, the jump from Monster Hunter, what came before World? For you, Generations? For you or Generations? They were like the
It
previous
was
ones.
Generations, yeah.
Yeah, and they were on the
Generations X
3DS.
and stuff. Yeah.
That's right. The leap from that to World was the biggest like overhaul Monster Hunter has gone through in its entire history, like 25-year history or whatever. So, their World or Rise are an equally good place to start. To be honest, I think there are some things World's probably a bit more complicated with. I think there's some things Rise is probably a bit more complicated with.
Yeah.
So I would say either's a good point, and I would just say fucking play it, man. If you haven't already, I think it was on gamespass. I'm not sure if it is anymore, but it's they're amazing games. They are amazing games.
Yeah, they are pretty good. But yeah, so that's what we've been grinding all week, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, we haven't really been playing anything else, have we? What else have we been playing? No, that's it yet.
Yeah, no, that has pretty much been
me.
it this week. To be honest, yeah, I'm still dipping my toes in Hollow Knight every now and then, but I don't really have any more to report on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's about it really. So I mean, shall we pop onto the news with that?
Yeah, let's get onto some more Xbox related things.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Xbox. Yeah, right. Xbox.
Yeah.
Let's see that. Yeah. So we are, for maybe the third or fourth time, revisiting the shelf. Now you'll know what we're talking about if you've listened to the previous episodes or are generally in the Xbox sort of atmosphere anyway. We're talking, of course, about the Phil Spencer shelf that was that he seems to be meticulously placing items on to tease future collaborations, releases, plans, etc., etc. We did speak about this in a previous week, but further teasing from insiders has sort of corroborated and confirmed that the stuff on there, is in fact relevant. One of the things there is a Nintendo Switch, and obviously, at first it's kind of like, well, dude just has a Switch on his shelf. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
No,
it
goes hinted, way deeper.
Yeah, well, it's been hinted that it does mean something. And this has been hinted at by a couple of different insiders at this point. I think this comes from Jeffrey Grubb at VentureBeat, and So yeah, and we don't know what. So this has led to a lot of speculation. Some people have said, "Oh, maybe this is XCloud on Switch. Maybe this is Games Pass on Switch, or maybe it's something smaller like Master Chief in Smash." This has been something that's you know
Yeah,
people have spoken
I
about
can
something
see
like
that.
that, or like maybe a Banjo sort of revival is in the works to go on Switch and Xbox, and that would fall in line with Phil talking about like um, legacy titles maybe going on other platforms. So it really could be anything. But like I'm sort of throwing it your way. Like, what are your immediate thoughts if someone said to you, "There's a mysterious Nintendo and Xbox collaboration going on behind the scenes. We don't know the magnitude." What would you say?
I don't know. I'd say I'm probably leaning more towards it's something like Chief in Smash. Um, to be brutally honest, whether that's something shelf worthy, I don't really know. It is a big deal to a lot of people, these sort of Smash characters and announcements. Um, I know it is a very big deal. Um, so that's probably what I would immediately lean to, being in like the most sort of like plausible area
Yeah.
of expectation. Um, but I mean, I'd love to see. I don't think XCloud on Switch. That would be really nah. Or no, I don't think it would be XCloud on Switch.
Hmm.
I think they put so much into sort of developing it for the mobile scene, and you have to develop these things very specifically for these platforms. iOS and Android are obviously quite different as well. Um, so I don't know for them to just be for them to just build ground up, and they're still kind of in beta or alpha. I don't even know. I guess like beta. They're still very early in xCloud. I can't imagine it coming to Switch. I think that's quite the leap. That one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it begs the question, doesn't it? Because like of like XCloud is like to a certain degree, right? That's competing with Switch, right? Like to a certain degree, like it wants to give you a portable
Yeah,
platform. Like, yes, it's not to console standard because you're streaming rather than playing it natively, but like I mean, to a degree, like if you're eyeing up games to play on the go, if you're that sort of person, you're like, oh look, I can play them on the Switch, or you say, oh actually, I can play these games with my phone and the Xbox that I already have. Eh,
yeah.
even if you don't,
It
and you're
could.
like Series S and Games Pass, well, I can get a console and I can do this for just as like the same price.
Yeah, yeah. It could just be a nice like sort of mini games pass sort of thing that they're looking to do. Like because there are a lot of games which now, obviously Bethesda especially, that get sort of remastered and changed for the Switch. Like made onto their portable platforms. So maybe it's a thing that now we have Bethesda, and I know loads of other games get remastered for Switch. Don't get me wrong, but like a lot of games that would come to Games Pass are also, coming to Switch. We're working with them to get sort of Games Pass titles over quicker and just, um, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's something like that.
Mm,
Obviously, it wouldn't be the whole Games Pass library. It would just be a selection.
yeah,
Xbox are like, here, we're sharing some of our first party studios with you, or some of our, and just being
exactly.
like, we'll help you sort of get them onto your platform, remaster them, and just sort of have like a Games Pass sort of bridge over to Switch, maybe for
Yeah,
a specific, maybe it's
yeah.
something like that.
I think it's an interesting point because like people have been saying about the objective of Games Pass and this comes back to like first episode and second episode stuff like we spoke about like exclusivity and all of that good stuff and essentially Phil said on the roundtable that they did just after the that they confirmed the Bethesda announcement they were like these games are going to be exclusives to where Games Pass is. And
Yeah,
like ultimately, like the wording of that, and it's like essentially, it's just it's just intuitive. Like if Games Pass was on other platforms, you would see those games on other platforms, but it's not, and it's like
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. I don't think, unless like you say, unless they release, and it is a good point, unless they release like a very restricted library to the Switch, like kind of like what they've done with PC, right? You know, it's different. The libraries from PC to get Xbox is different, you know, for better or worse, but it is. And you know, why would Nintendo be like, yeah, you can get Games Pass and pay Xbox to get the games through our console? It doesn't make any sense. Considering, remember, consoles sell at a loss. Like they make money based on upsell of like software bought on them. So they would be losing money if they were like, oh yeah, you know, I'm actually I'm struggling to think of like a third party title that comes out on the Switch and like mainline consoles. I'm drawing a blank. The only thing that was coming to mind was like Far Cry, but that actually won't. So I'm really,
you could
really
say
struggling.
something like just say something like Doom, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with Doom. Yeah, something like that. But I guess that's first party now. So, so you know what I mean.
That's true.
So if it's something like does COD go there nowadays? Whatever. You all know what I'm trying to say. A third. Why would they give up like a huge, if not 100% of the revenue to Xbox? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me unless like you said, it was a restricted just to first party. In which case they would weigh up and say, well, you know, the customers actually might like to play first party Bethesda games, first party, anything Xbox first party. You know, sure, we might not get a huge amount of revenue from it, but it offers more value on our service. So that's plausible, I guess, but I can't see it happening because it gives like real mixed messaging with what like Xbox is obviously they've been driving home a lot more like messaging around exclusivity and are like, you know, well now we've got Games Pass, now we've got this catalog building up. It would just fly in the face of that to then be like, well actually, you know, we're going to put everything on Switch anyway. It would just I don't know, yeah, I just don't think it would fly well for anyone.
Yeah, it's quite the leap. Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, the most plausible options are Banjo or Chief in Smash.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think so too. I think it's going to be something small and cute. Like I don't think it'll be anything particularly big. Unless maybe it's like on this what is it, like service side, you know, kind of like how
Xbox are like, we're going to help you develop parties. You guys can talk on your console.
Yeah. Please, it feels literally like I love the Switch. I want to be able to speak to my friends on it. Yeah, unless because like a couple of years ago, there was that thing about like PlayStation were using Azure servers, you know, like a cloud, whatever, because Microsoft have obviously the biggest cloud like platform, don't they? So they teamed up to do that. So like, I mean, it's not impossible that it could be something like that, and it's not, you know, it's only like indirectly linked to gaming.
Yeah.
So who knows? But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's probably something more small and cute than anything else. But I mean, but I guess Banjo is it's quite big rather than small.
Oh yeah, Banjo will be big. Yeah, I think it will be Chief in Smash.
But at the same time, I also kind of have this reservation of like, I know there's a legacy of Banjo on Nintendo, but like they don't own Banjo anymore. Like I don't understand why Xbox.
Yeah, technically we do.
Exactly, yeah. My Xbox owns the IP, so like I don't know why they would kind of just give that up and put it on Switch.
Yeah.
So unless Nintendo have been like, here's, you know, $5 million, get it on our platform. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be Chief in Smash or like Arbiter in Smash or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's the most plausible thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the stuff we talked about, you know, this Games Pass stuff, is in talks with Nintendo, because I mean, Xbox and Microsoft have always been very fond of Nintendo and working with them and stuff like that. They definitely don't have a problem with that. And I think they yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think they, you know, they can probably see the value in what Switch brings in its portability and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of really long B2B collaboration going on. Shit takes ages, but like right now, I'd say my money's on just a Smash sort of a tie-in.
Yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of Games Pass, there is some news of there's sort of speculation around PlayStation working on a counterpunch to Xbox Games Pass, and this comes from the original God of War creator. So I mean, like it's the validity of this is kind of all over the place, because this is David Jaff, who, like original God of War creator. He doesn't work at PlayStation anymore. I mean, that's not to say he doesn't have sources within the company. I'm sure he does and has mates from the company. But does this surprise me? Not at all. We spoke about this the other week. That PlayStation Plus offering seems to be getting more attention and more revenue because they're realizing we need something which is like, under the guise of quote unquote free that people are getting to compete in that value war. It does not, I reckon, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a PlayStation Pass by the end of this year, to be honest. If it doesn't come this year, that would kind of surprise me, and it would be at least by the end of 2022.
Yeah, yeah. They need to bring out something like that just to combat the Xbox Games Pass. And I mean, Xbox Games Pass, we always say every single week. I feel like we report something new and something groundbreaking that's coming to Games Pass. It's gaining a lot of traction. They can clearly see that, and they're 100% thinking down the same route of getting a similar service to their users. Couldn't agree more.
I mean, it's quite funny though, because the only reason that you would doubt that this is the case is because Jim Ryan, the current head of PlayStation rather, has gone on record saying, Games Pass wouldn't work for our type of games, which everybody was like, that's why you fucking lying. So that's the only reason that anybody would have any doubt. Anybody would be pressing F. I don't know. I imagine it's coming. I imagine Jim Ryan will eat his words. He says a lot of things he doesn't mean. He's a rather unpopular executive at the moment. So, it'll come. I don't doubt it'll come. Yeah. Moving on, we also got a little bit of speculation around Halo Infinite. Now this comes from the r/gaming leaks and rumors subreddit, which is a fabulous subreddit, by the way. Everyone should go and have a peek. Keeps you on top of the news and all of this stuff. So, I mean, and take this with a reasonable ladle of salt, because we don't know. Yeah, not a pinch, a ladle.
A ladle.
Because it's not verified, essentially anybody could be posting this, and allegedly they did message the devs, which is the standard verification process. But the dude or lady didn't want to give up that detail, so it could literally be anyone. But I mean, to be fair, if I was leaking details, I wouldn't trust random Reddit admins either to keep my information private. So I totally get it. But it all sounds reasonable. It's fairly safe as well. But just as a couple of highlights around this, the Pit is coming back to Infinite allegedly. It's obviously one of the really popular maps from Halo 3. Oh yeah, I want to say Halo 3.
Ah, yeah.
They've been testing a 4v4 competitive mode, and he says, and I quote, "And coming from a Halo player back in the day, Infinite feels just right. The movement, the shooting, the one-time abilities, everything flows just right. If you're an avid Halo 2, 3, or 5 multiplayer player, you'll definitely be pleased with Infinite. Flag juggling is back. You can pull players towards you using the grapple shot. You can pull anything on the map and throw to the opponent players. I managed to grab the flag using the grapple shot, and you can even shoot the flag against the enemies, and you can kill them with it. Kind of like a throwing knife in COD.
Nice.
There are new medals. One medal is to use the grapple shot and get a kill with an object. And I mean, we saw a bit of this in the showcase where Chief grabbed the fusion coil and chucked it. So it's just kind of an extension of that, really. And it is kind of exciting because I think, a lot of people speak about what Halo is special for, and it's kind of a sandbox shooter. Which is so true, especially Halo 3, and that's a lot of people are disappointed that 4 and 5 moved away from that, as good as they may be in their own right. There isn't really a shooter that kind of does that, like a multiplayer shooter that has that kind of sandbox approach. So I do find that quite exciting, considering I never really was properly into Halo 3 multiplayer in the day. I loved the game, but not for its multiplayer. So I do find the idea quite exciting.
I find it weird how you compared 2, 3, and 5. He was just like, if you like 2, 3, and 5 multiplayer, then you're gonna like this. I feel like
Yeah.
2, 3. I feel like 5 was very different to 2 and 3, so that doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah,
But
I guess
okay,
it's just because they're the warmly received ones, I guess.
yeah, I guess
Because
so.
like 5 does like there are still some elements of 5 in Infinite, and we know that like sprint is still in the game. For example, I don't know
Yeah,
about anything else like the thrusters. I don't think that's in. I don't think there's ground power. Like I don't know, but so I
I
assume
hope
that's why.
there's not.
Um, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. A redesigned sticky detonator is coming back from Halo 4, which is actually kind of sick. 'Cause I thought that was a really cool gun from Halo 4. I love that thing.
Yeah, was
It's really
cool.
satisfying. There's a battle pass system coming similar to Master Chief Collection, which, by the way, everybody hold your horses. If you haven't played Master Chief Collection, then you're not allowed to get angry because everybody loves this battle pass system. What I've read, this is the best implementation of a battle pass in a game. I haven't played it either, but I'm just reading what other people have read, and the reason why people say this is because it's like. It's at least in MCC. I don't know if it will be in this. It's free, and there is like obviously a premium track like with most, but the free version is really rewarding, and you don't miss out on previous battle passes. You can like switch between them and like level. So then you can still go to the old one and grind up it. So it like eliminates that fear
Oh, that is
factor of
cool.
like, oh, I have to play. That kind of artificial pressure
Hmm.
of making you want to play.
Oh, I'd kill for something like that in Apex.
Yeah,
That'd be
man, I know,
amazing.
I know.
I missed out on a few of the end battle pass skins in Apex. So yeah, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. So supposedly that's very good. So that is good news. If you're to believe the opinion that people have about MCC's battle pass system. And just to finish off there, 343 has years and years of multiplayer maps, new content, weapons, DLC planned for Infinite. The launch stuff is the beginning of a great Halo journey. I think we'll be testing even more Infinite content after launch, as the company is pleased with our QA testing. So I mean, nothing.
I like
Like I
that.
said, most of the stuff that I've pointed out there is fairly safe. There's maybe a few things which may be a bit of speculation. Please don't take that as fact. I don't know, but I just wanted to point out a few things really that could be there.
Yeah, some very very exciting things in there. Very cool. Um, yeah, for sure. So so just a quick one.
Mm-hmm.
The grapple shot. That is that like a sort of pickup sort of consumable ability, or is it just something you're just kitted out with? Is it?
It's equipment.
It is equipment. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, yeah, that you find and you like. Yeah, they have like a set amount of uses, and then
That's
you have
right.
to like find another one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's really cool actually. How I never actually thought um, that that sort of stuff, yeah, with how it would be implemented into multiplayer. It seems like they're actually clearly thinking about that.
Exactly.
It'd be quite cool to play like oddball and stuff like that with those sort of equipment as well.
Yeah.
Especially as he mentioned it with the flag. Just some of that, like you said, it's all speculation, but some of that has got me quite excited. That is quite
Mhm.
cool,
Well, I
for
mean,
sure.
the grappling, like obviously we're not even in the realm of speculation. I think that's quite an exciting thing. That's what we've seen. Well, hopefully we've just seen like the very surface layer of it, and the grapple shot is like, your mind kind of wanders a bit with like what the possibilities are with a type of game like Halo. Grappling like onto a banshee,
Mm,
flinging yourself to the top of a mountain, like all sorts of like nonsense like that. It's like
yeah,
that sounds fun, man. Like that sounds so. It's we don't know how to work in campaign. Maybe it's unlimited use in campaign or whether we don't know. So they keep teasing that there's more things like the grapple shot to come in terms of equipment, and we also saw in the demo we saw that like one way barrier that Chief threw out. It was like a kind of a horseshoe, sort of like a flat horseshoe shield. So there's obviously lots of new
yeah,
equipment that they're bringing in, and that I think for a lot of people that's like the biggest thing, like the bringing back of like creative and like one-time use equipment, powerful like one-time use equipment. So yeah,
yeah. It'd be interesting to know whether or not that sort of stuff takes the place, because like we've always said, Halo's very much an arena shooter. Um,
hmm
how much that sort of stuff dominates the map over like power weapon pickups and stuff like
hmm
that.
hmm
Um, I think it'd actually be quite cool to see more equipment based pickups, and actually tone down the power weapon pickups and stuff, and then you just sort of be more creative with how you kill people with just your standard BR assault rifle SMG loadout sort of thing. I think that'd actually be quite cool. But yeah.
I agree. I know. I like the approach. You know, and you know there have been like mobility based equipment in other games, haven't they? You know, things like what are they called, grav lifts.
Yes.
So it's just kind of like an extension of that, an evolution of that, and that is like you said, I think that is all a really cool idea, because I get, I said this about Skyrim, but like I don't know what, nobody seems to have tried like to replicate the success that Halo has, which I guess is why people love it so much, because it doesn't. Nobody seems to have even tried to have like made like a sandbox type PvP shooter, and it's just weird. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
All speculation stuff. We'll be covering Halo more and more as we move closer and closer to launch. They're still doing their articles at the end of every month. Last month it was audio, and like I recently watched a video of that, and it was all very interesting. You know, it's arguably one of them, like not as interesting as like the one before that was like sandbox design. You know, so we were all over that. But yeah, so we'll be covering it more and more as we get close to launch for sure.
Definitely.
All right, let's. So there's just a dumb thing, just a stupid dumb thing. Xbox like tweeted about doing. So they quote. This is from the Xbox Twitter account. We had some one-of-a-kind portraits commissioned in honor of Bethesda joining the family, and we'll be posting them throughout the month. # National Siblings Day. And if you haven't seen this, I'll try and describe it to you. It's like a graduation photo of a dad and his son, but the dad is Chief and the son is Doom Guy, and he's got like his arms on his shoulder, and it's just stupid, and I love it. The Xbox,
it's fucking great. Yeah,
the Xbox Twitter account is having an absolute baller.
I thought I recognised it. It's Step Brothers. You know that movie with Will Ferrell and thingy. Yeah, it's the Step Brothers cover art, but they've just pasted Chief's face and Doom Guy's face on top of them. Yeah, I thought I recognised it. Yeah, that's really funny. Which is obviously ties into the National Siblings thing that they did, the hashtag.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It is funny. Yeah.
Like, we'll be getting more of them throughout the month, apparently. There hasn't been another one yet. It'll probably get posted as soon as the episode ends. But it's, again, just more and more. It's quite funny to see, like, a lot of the branding. Like, they're obviously trying to make the names, like, related, you know, like, in people's heads. So, you know, Bethesda Xbox. So it's it's just a funny way to go about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's great. I love it.
All right, moving on. We've got from Industry Insider, Tyler McVicker, usually known for inside info on Steam. Valve is trying to get Games Pass on Steam. Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's quite the claim, isn't it? Yes. I mean, I don't know if anything will ever come of it, but like that, there have been some whispers of some collaboration with Valve for like a few years now, but no one's ever known if like what truth. This is like the first like insider who's like said something about it. So I don't know. I don't even really know what the implications of that are, because I'm not a PC gamer. But I mean, I guess it would somewhat surprise me, because presumably Games Pass is limited to the Windows Store, right?
In all honesty, I don't know. We're not really. Yeah, I don't actually have a PC.
Well, it must be. It must be. If this rumor is about Games Pass going to Steam, Games Pass must be exclusive to like,
it's exclusive to the Microsoft Windows Store. Yeah. That's that. I imagine that's how it works. Yeah, no other launcher is using it.
Yeah, right, exactly. I don't see what benefit there is for Steam to do this, other than having their first party games on there, which they're probably gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see what's in it for
I don't
Steam.
know. I
Mm.
mean, clearly a lot. I don't really know, but there's obviously some sort of deal they're working on or doing something. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's weird because yeah, Steam having Games Pass is I mean, it's beneficial for Steam because it just will shoot their numbers up like a hell of a lot more and be a hell of a lot more consistent. They've clearly seen that Games Pass is very popular in the PC area, and they're just like, if we take this and make it so people play these games through us first, then you know, well, one, I'm sure they'll take some sort of profit from that to just be like, we're giving you all of our sort of Steam users and the people that go on Steam every single day and boot up Steam and boot up games and look at your store, we're making you available to their eyes. That's what they're obviously going to say to like Xbox and just be like, we're
Mm.
going to make them see all of your games, all of your titles. You're going to get a hell of a lot more clicks. You're going to get a lot more downloads, all that sort of stuff. And then obviously
Mm.
they get the benefit of switching over everyone that's currently running Games Pass on PC.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, yeah, absolutely. No, you are right. I mean, the only thing that's coming to mind in terms of like, something that's coming to mind is that like Steam are aware that Microsoft or Xbox rather are really trying to penetrate like the PC market, and they're obviously doing that by developing PC games. I mean, we've seen this ramping up with Gears Tactics, Flight Simulator, you know, Wasteland 3 came to consoles, yes, but it's a PC game. You know, it's an isometric, strategy game. Those games are designed for PC. And there's
Yeah.
another one that I can't think of. Age of Empires. I think that might be on our list of things to speak about today. So like they're clearly, like if Steam are like, well, we want those games to actually come to Steam as well, so we can get them through gamespass. So like that's the only thing. And like maybe they've had a peek behind the curtain of like some other things that are looking to be PC first and then come to console or
Yeah.
just PC exclusive as well. Maybe they've seen that library and are like, it will be beneficial actually. Maybe there's a deal we can cut here. So that's something that comes to mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually agree. I didn't actually think about that. Yeah, they're going to want
Mm.
all those sort of games being developed by studios under Xbox, for PC to be available on their platform. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Very true. Yeah, so there's definitely something in there, and obviously that's crazy because obviously Steam is well, it's number one, isn't it, as far
Steam is
as
Steam.
a store and a launcher is concerned. So it's definitely beneficial for both parties involved. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's
Without a
hard to
doubt.
say. It's a pretty wild accusation. I'm sure if something like that happens, it's going to be a long time anyway
Yeah,
for all
definitely.
the. But yeah,
All right. Well, following up for sort of midweek, this is probably like the biggest news that we had in the week, or the biggest sort of speculation. And this was about again more journalists just saying stuff and us nerds on the internet, turning an inch into a mile. Um, Saying how far away Xbox exclusives are. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Deck, in last episode of a Quick Resume podcast, your very, very high quality, popular podcast, you said that
hmm
E3, Xbox's E3 this year, it's going to be stellar. It's going to be killer. We're going to see gameplay for all the games we saw last year. There's going to be like 2 or 3 surprises. We're going to see gameplay for Bethesda games, and it's going to blow your tiny minds away, and it's going to get crowned the best E3 of all time. I know that's what you're thinking, but let me just say what this dude said. So Chris Dring, head of GameIndustry.biz, said on the latest episode of VGC, Off the Record podcast. Now this is a roller coaster, so bear with me. Um, he said that he feels the release of the games they showed last year. So we're talking Everworld, we're talking Perfect Dark, we're talking Fable, are very far away. He said, semi-jokingly, quote unquote, new consoles might be out by then or a console refresh. So this obviously
mm,
made people a bit wary. It's a bit of a statement to make. He later tweeted, and I quote, People have misinterpreted the initial tweet as to suggest I'm talking about a 7-year wait for these games. That's obviously ridiculous. I was semi-joking about the new Xbox, although we might have a revised model by the time they're all out. Maybe. But then, wait, there's more. Then Jeff Grubb commented on this, again, you know, our favourite insider from Venture B. Grubby. He mentioned...
Scratch one, Grub.
Scratch one. I'd love to scratch Jeff Grubb. He was asked the question, is it safe to assume that we will have several gameplay showcases or Xbox games that had teaser trailers last year? You know, i.e. will we get a follow-up to the games we saw last year? And Jeff Grubb responded, yes and no. I think we might get more teasers for many of those games. I think we might not hear about many of those games at this E3. I think they'll try to focus on what they have for this year, and if they have a game that's seen significant updates and improvements since the last time they showed it, they might talk about that in a teaser as well. We've heard about Perfect Dark, we've heard about Avowed, things like that. These games are still very far off, I think. Like we're talking about 2023 timeframe, probably for most of these games at the earliest. So, I mean, we've kind of come full circle because 2023 doesn't surprise me too much, to be honest. Like, in my head, Xbox has like the fated four of like new like killer first party like AAA games that are gonna really, you know, get the car rolling, really, you know. And those are like Everwild, Obsidian, Fable, and Hellblade 2. Obviously, there's like Perfect Dark. Obviously, there's all Bethesda stuff, and there's Halo. But ignoring them because they're kind of question marks, and Halo's Halo. I'm kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see them until like earliest mid 2022. Throwing COVID in there also wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see them until early 2023. So like, it was kind of all of that drama for nothing. But it was so. Do we see, so like coming back to the original question, do we see more gameplay of these things this year at E3 2021? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
I don't know. I kind of still think we will. Like, maybe, no, not for Avowed. Not for Everwild and stuff like that. But I do think we're going to see a lot. Like, well, even if it's just a small amount, you know, just to wet our whistles, just to like keep us interested till 2027, you know. I think we're going to see something. But you know, when we were talking about E3, we were never like, oh, we're going to see such extensive gameplay and this shit's going to drop by the end of the year. You know, that's not what we never said that. And that's why even reading and going through that Roller Coaster Tycoon 4, it doesn't surprise me. I think 2023 would be a bit annoying. I'd like to see them sort of in 2022. Oops, just hit my pen on the desk. Hopefully no one heard that. But yeah, so it doesn't surprise me. I still think we'll see some gameplay of a handful of them. Some which are way off. I mean, Everwild, that has been very secretive, isn't it? There really hasn't been much on that. And Avowed, we've literally seen like a logo.
Right? No, Everwild we've had 2 CGI trailers for. If there's any of them that are further along, it's Everwild.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was saying. Well, no, it's quite secretive. I wasn't too sure on Everwild, is what I was saying. But yeah, Avowed and stuff like that, and fucking Elder Scrolls 6, we've literally just seen a title screen for them. So if we get anything, it will be a small little morsel, and I don't expect those games until the latter of 2022. Like, I genuinely wouldn't. And I'm not just, you know, defending Microsoft or an Xbox. I genuinely thought that if someone was just like, oh, you know, like these games are coming out like early 2022, end of this year, I'd be like, they're not finished. They're unfinished games. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think there is some in there that, I mean, obviously, some are going to be done before others, whatever. That's just, it depends however Xbox want to space it out. Out of those 4, out of, like I said, Hellblade, Avowed, Everwild, and What's the other one that I haven't said? Everwild, Fable, Hellblade.
You didn't say Fable. Perfect Dark?
No, not Perfect Dark, because we know that's a while off. Shit, I can't remember. But so those 4 that I said before are like out of those 4. I think we'll see Hellblade 2 first, because that's been in development since like 2018. You know, Hellblade came out.
Yeah.
When did it come out? 2017 or whatever. Then I think we'll probably see Everwild, and then Fable's.
Everwild.
Like Fable's been in development for a while, but they're shifting from a racing studio to a RPG studio, so that's going to understandably take more time.
I still think it will be ahead of Avowed.
Avowed, that's the other one. Yeah,
oh.
And Avowed. No, but to be fair, like people have been saying like Avowed isn't as far like as early as you think it is. That's been in like development since like 2018 or even 2017 as well. So yeah, like again, I don't. Do we see gameplay for them this year? Maybe not. Like maybe with Bethesda, like maybe they just skip that a year entirely, and they're just work on the game. We'll show you next year when it's nearly done. That wouldn't surprise me either, because supposedly there are some things that Xbox have up their sleeve to show this year. They've obviously got all of Bethesda show. They're going to give Halo some well overdue gameplay. We haven't even seen multiplayer. We haven't even seen multiplayer. We haven't even seen Forge. They're going to have so much to show. Maybe we don't see them this year, but I still think we're going to have a cracking E3. Like I still think they're going to have a lot to show, and that's going to be nothing compared to next year. You know, it's just going to be year on year. This is just going to get to a point where they're just going to have so much to show. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think we might see something from again, I forgot the list. It was Everwild, Fable,
Hellblade, Everwild, Avowed.
I think we might see some like Everwild and stuff like that. But again, just tiny little bits. I was never expecting much, just enough to be like to raise the hype a little bit and let people know they're still there. Because they do stuff like that at E3 all the time, where they just do small things.
Yeah.
Just to like, you know, just be like, it's here, you know, like get excited sort of thing. It's on its way. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be dead silence across the board. I think a couple of them we'll hear some stuff from, but yeah, that absolutely doesn't really surprise me. And it is quite, when you put it in the way that he did, where he was just like the next iteration of Xbox, you know, like a Series X, fucking, I don't know what they'll call it. They'll probably call it like Series XS, just to make it just ultra mega confusing.
XL.
Yeah.
It's so
the
big.
XX. Yeah, they just call it the Series XX. Yeah, so it is quite scary to think like, yeah, these games might be releasing when we do actually get a newer version of our consoles, sort of like that gap, like the PS4 to the PS4 Pro had, and the Xbox to the
I don't think we get
Xbox One X had.
But
you know, like those do tend to be a couple years or a few. What was the PS4 was 2014, wasn't it?
Well, no, 2013
and
for
Pro was like
the refreshes. The One X was 2017, November 2017. I think the Pro was early 2017, maybe late 2016. So
the consoles were 2013 base consoles. Yeah, so it's 4 years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So based on that time scale, yeah, probably not, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
But, I mean, like I said,
we don't know what they have planned.
I really don't think we get console refreshes this year. I don't think we do. But we'll have to see. I mean, that would be a conversation.
It would be hard to justify. It'd be hard to justify the sale of an improved console like a Series XX on top of what we got, considering a lot of the first party games won't even be out yet. It's just like, we're upgrading. Why? But like our machine's perfectly capable of running these remasters at 60 frames.
It might be able to run Cyberpunk finally.
But
like beyond that, like what's the meaningful upgrade? Like the whole thing with the Pro and the X was like, well,
more storage.
We'll get your games running at 4K. Like that was the thing. They were like, 4K is a thing now. Like it's in the hands of the public. We can get your games running at 4K. Let's be first on the market. And And obviously these consoles, it's like, we're going to give you 4K without compromises. 4K with like fucking sick SSDs. It's going to be 6. I don't see what the next. I mean, I'm hardly on the
8K compatibility.
Yeah, it's just like
8K TVs are on the horizon.
It's
They're
not
out
a thing,
there.
though, is it? I know. Yeah, I know.
No,
I know
it's
they
for
are
rich
there,
bitches.
It is, but yeah, like 4K's. The adoption rate of 4K owners is still really low. I don't know the figure, but it's still not high. So there's no way in the next 3 years that changes enough for Microsoft to be like, yeah, let's make a Series XXX, an Xbox Series XXX.
I'm calling it, man. They're going to do a next iteration, and they're going to do the Series X with Kinect X.
And Xbox dies again.
Instantly 60 under.
Yeah.
We're a Nintendo Switch podcast.
Yeah.
No, that was a joke, obviously.
So that's all of that. We'll see. There'll always be more to talk about with E3 as we get closer and closer. And I will keep my eyes peeled for any of this. But we'll have to do some bets as we get closer, but we'll see.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on to some more smaller stuff, some small fry stuff. Well, I mean, I say small fry like a dumbass. That's just like the state of affairs at the moment. At the beginning of the week, Microsoft was in talks to buy the AI firm Nuance Communications for 16 bill, who are the creators of Siri, by the way. That sale actually went through this week, at the end of the week, for 19.7 billion, or as I like to quantify it, 2.5 Bethesdas.
Jesus, man, Bethesda getting so shortchanged. They're just like, oh, we're rolling in it, boys. What a purchase! And then like
Siri.
2 months later, Discord 10 million, fucking Siri 20 billion, and they're just like, we could have got more, guys. We could have got so much more. Yeah. I'm sorry.
But what's this about Discord? What's this about Siri? Huh? Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, they're on a fucking spending spree, man. Someone's loose with the credit card.
Yeah, I know. Really. No, it really is. It is a bit weird. I don't know if it's just because I'm paying more attention to it or if they are just going a bit mental at the moment.
I think they're just going a bit mental.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with that. This is obviously a Microsoft purchase more than it is an Xbox purchase, but I don't doubt it will find its way into Xboxes. They run on the same OS near enough, so
yeah, this sort of AI stuff would be used for Azure and stuff like that, more so Xbox specifically. But yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely. So, bouncing back to the rumor mill, the speculation mill, the mill that never stops spinning. Miles, I'm probably going to mispronounce this. Miles Dompey
Morales.
No, not the first name. From Windows Central spoke about the Kojima Xbox potential collaboration. We obviously touched on this last week. He spoke about this on the Iron Lords podcast and said it's more than a rumor, and also, this is a bit spooky, that he expects Death Stranding to come to Games Pass as well as some other stuff. So this is a weird one. This is a really weird one. It's really weird, dude.
Oh, it is weird. It's really fucking weird.
He said he was confident, like he just went on the record and said it. So like
Death Stranding, yeah. I mean, and the new old stuff. That's quite interesting. I wonder if they'll.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is. It's a chin stroker.
That's weird. I mean, fuck it. I don't think. Maybe I'd play Death Stranding. I don't know. It's.
I would try it. It was on Games Pass. I said this last week. I said, it's just like I would buy it for 60. I would try it on Games Pass. It's that sort of game.
There's a lot of there's a lot of things I'd try because it's on Games Pass. And we talked about that quite a bit in our last episode or the one before. I can't remember. It's sort of blur. How Xbox is how Games Pass does improve the users just playing games that they wouldn't normally play, things like that. So I guess Death Stranding would probably fall into that category for me. That said, there are some games there are quite a lot of games that I would steer very clear of, even though they're on Games Pass. Just on the fact we're talking Sony, stuff like Metal Gear Survive, hype, dude. Wouldn't go near that.
Mm.
But yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, it is. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
And it kind of just came out of nowhere. Like,
yeah.
it's a very,
It just speaks to something going on behind the scenes with Kojima. We spoke about a potential game collaboration coming off the back of him leaving Stadia because Stadia were like, we don't want to make games. We tried for 6 months, we weren't the top of the world, so now we're stopping. So it just lends more credence to like something's going on. It's like where there's smoke, there's fire. With Kojima,
yeah,
and Kojima owns the Death Stranding IP. So if Xbox were like, look, we want to start getting all your games on Xbox, we want to work with you for the next game. Here's a huge check. I don't doubt Kojima would see massive dollar signs in his eyes and be like,
yeah,
yes, daddy. He's still a
exactly.
freelance worker,
Yeah,
as much as an icon he is. He still needs money to make good games. So that's that.
no, yeah, yeah, very true, very, very true.
That's
Um,
that. Other smaller little things. We did touch on Microsoft Flight Simulator earlier, but Microsoft Flight Simulator did in fact receive a PEGI rating. It was originally announced to come to the Series consoles, mid 2021. So we're obviously approaching that. But it was announced for Xbox One. The PEGI rating was for Xbox One, which makes me think it must be a mistake. That game is not running on Xbox One. There will be smoke.
no,
There will be fires. It will turn into a remote
yeah,
like C4. It's just not a good idea.
hmm I couldn't agree more. It's just not a thing. That has to be wrong.
Yeah, it has to be wrong.
It has to be.
It just can't be. There would be so many casualties, Phil. Think about what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. There would be some fatalities for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to get a multi-kill. So, like, I mean, this is I am still. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they hold this off to E3 and they were like, "Boom, play it now." This would strike me as that sort of release, you know,
Yeah,
but because it's
yeah,
not going
for
to.
sure.
Microsoft Flight Simulator isn't the sort of game that's going to generate like a ton of hype, but it would get a bit more if it came out of nowhere. Um, and also,
Yep.
it's going to be. I know we kind of had like. Do you remember just before the Series X came out and the PlayStation 5 came out, there was like next generation gate where everybody was like, "Oh, where are my next gen exclusive games? Really take advantage of the hardware and all of this." And now nobody really cares because everybody's kind of accepted that we're just getting cross-gen games for a while now. Barring a couple of outliers, like Medium, like Dark Demon Souls, upcoming Ratchet
Yeah.
game maybe. Yeah, that's right. I think Returnal is as well. So anyway, but Microsoft Flight Simulator will only be a Series X console, and it will look bonkers. As much as you are or are not a simulator type person, this game will look stupid good. And again, it's one of those things. If it's on gamespass, I'll download it for 300 gig. I'll try it for a bit just to kind of gawk at how good it looks. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. I would genuinely download it for the visuals, like
yeah,
100%. Um, and yeah, I have someone who I work with actually who's a huge fan of flight sim, um, and he
that's
has
right.
like the beefiest PC, and he runs it, and yeah, he just says it's a very peaceful game, and it's just a visual pleasure.
Yeah,
And that's what these things are. And I would definitely download it and give it a go just for the visual sake because people worked very hard on that, and it fucking looks amazing.
yeah,
So, and I would enjoy looking at it as well,
mm.
for sure. So, yeah,
Yeah. You bet. You bloody bet. Um, We also had just a small thing, a couple of small things really. I did say this at the beginning of the podcast. We had a lot of small things this week. Amazon is launching Alexa and Xbox Game Pass integration today. So, if you don't already know, Alexa and I think a lot of other home devices support Xbox, so you can do commands. And funnily enough, mine hasn't been working since the Series X came out. Actually, maybe I need to reset it or something. But anyway, now you can do it specifically for Games Pass, so you can ask Alexa to install a game from Games Pass. Just a nice little thing. Or you can ask what games are popular or are leaving the service soon.
That's kind of cool.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. Yeah, it's cool. Not much else to say.
It's pretty neat. Yeah.
It's just kind of neat. Yeah.
It's just a nice little feature. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Cool.
just part of I think developing, but as well it gets Games Pass in more mouths. I guess in more ears is the right thing to say. No more mouths.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you see it on the Alexa app. There's kind of that brand synergy. You can use it here, you can use it here, blah 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 blah. Yeah, all nice stuff.
Absolutely.
All nice stuff. Up next, Nintendo had its Indie World showcase the other day, this week rather. Did you see anything about this? They had like a little mini showcase for a couple of indie games.
I didn't. No, I did not see this. Indie World Showcase. Interesting.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, it was, it's pretty cool. The reason I bring it up is because there obviously were a couple of games there that are going to be coming to Xbox. To note, were some of the games like Ollie Ollie Worlds, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Art of Rally, Oxenfree 2 was really the big takeaway. It was kind of the big one. Oxenfree was really good. I played Oxenfree. It's kind of like a side scroller, little storyteller kind of thing. But it was really good, man. It was sick, and that game definitely deserved a sequel. But it's only on Switch and PC for now. Not hugely surprising, but these games will come to Xbox down the line as well, and it's nice to see. I think some this is now Xbox and Nintendo who have done little showcases for. Well, I say little, but Xbox's was arguably too big, but showcases for their like their indie presence. So it's just nice. You love to see it.
Yeah. I feel like more people are being a bit more. I don't want to say the word accepting, but just shining the light a bit more on them. Xbox have been doing it for quite a while now with like ID at Xbox. They definitely sort of started the trend. I guess the trend was started with like Steam and stuff like that. That's where all indie was sort of born. But I feel like Xbox really shine the light on it, and we're just like we're actually like. We're actually doing our own show for these people, and we're actually gonna, we've given them their own like segment of the market, ID Xbox, that sort of thing, their own branding. And obviously, Nintendo have just done it as well, and it's always good to see indie developers get the recognition, the praise, and all that all that good stuff.
That good stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All the good stuff.
With these things, you never know when you're going to have your next Hades, do you? You never know when you're going to have your next breakout, Outer Wilds. These sorts of things. Cuphead, Ori. So it's something which is so worth fostering. So it is always good to see.
Absolutely.
We're coming up to news which was just happening yesterday. Obviously, by the time you're listening to the podcast, yesterday will have been Thursday on the 15th. And there was, again, the speculation mill. And I mean, Tim can probably see in the notes here that I've put a little emoji with the guy with wearing the sunglasses. Because a lot of Windows Central did an Xbox rumor roundup, but we're well ahead of this. We are well ahead. We covered this all last week.
Yeah.
So, and like a bit of it this week. So, we're well on it. The only thing, and I don't think we spoke about this last week, was that when maybe we did. No, I don't think we did. It was about Jez Corden from Windows Central said something about Xbox working with a prominent third-party AAA studio, presumably for an exclusive game, allegedly a new IP. And the only tease we got was a little cyclone emoji, was that little spinning blue emoji you can see in the notes there. But it's essentially, for the audience listening, it's like a blue spiral. And that was the only thing we got. What does that mean? Nobody knows. Some people said, oh, it's Ubisoft. Some people said, oh, it's Team Ninja, because they've got like their little logo's like a little tornado.
Yeah.
Some people thought Dreamcast logo. Some people thought Sonic. Nobody knows. Nobody has a goddamn clue what that mysterious man is up to. So, go ahead. Give us your best speculation on what that blue fucking cyclone means, Tim.
It can mean anything. I have no idea. You know that emoji existed.
No, I tried to do it. I tried to type it like into the notes, but I couldn't. I don't even know how he did it. He just like coded it.
Is it on my phone?
I looked for it on my
I
phone.
don't
I couldn't
know,
find it.
man.
I
But
typed
it's
cyclone.
it's circulating. It's circulating around Kojima specifically. You were saying?
No, nothing to do with
Huh?
Kojima. This is to do with something else.
Oh, okay.
A new
Oh,
game.
sorry.
It's to do with a game Microsoft is looking to publish with a prominent third-party AAA studio. New IP allegedly.
Yes.
So I mean, does the cyclone like relate to the studio? Like prominent third-party AAA studios, there are many. You know, it could be so.
Yeah. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to know.
You're not even gonna try.
I don't think it. No. I mean, what do you think? I mean,
I asked the
like,
questions.
you're already asking the questions, so you can deflect it away from you.
Not true.
Oh man,
Not true.
I'm trying to find the emoji.
Yeah, I don't know. I was originally thinking Ubisoft, but then that would be really, really weird because I mean that nobody does that. We're in a time of fucking weird things happening anyway, so I don't know. But like I'm pretty sure he denied that. Yeah, I don't know, man. What's like? Yeah, I don't know. We're going to be sitting here in silence if I actually start thinking about it. That's why I asked you.
I mean, let's be honest. It's impossible. Nothing is even coming to my mind for speculation, to be brutally honest.
Yeah. I have no idea. I really have no idea. Like, it could be to do with games that studio has previously made.
Mm-hmm.
Tornadoes? Just Cause? Who makes that? Who makes Just Cause? Isn't that Avalanche? The last game was Tornado,
maybe?
Isn't it? Yeah, Just Cause was Avalanche.
That's quite the stretch.
Help!
That's quite the stretch. Yeah,
Avalanche
it is
Studios.
Avalanche Studios.
Yeah. Published by Square Enix.
No.
Well, actually, no. Anyway, let's move on. So, I mean, that's that. There's something happening. There are lots of things happening. You know, like we said, E3. I'm expecting a few surprises. A lot of people are teasing quite a few surprises. Whether we see some of them this year or the year after, I'm hoping we see at least one this year. This might be one of them. Cyclone Boy, whatever that means. So, woohoo.
Woohoo.
Okay, so we've had Sea of Thieves Season 2 launch this week as well at the back end of this week, and we briefly spoke about this last week as well, so not too much to speak about, but there were a couple of new things for this month. I'm getting confused now. I'm not sure what's been announced and what hasn't. As your resident Sea of Thieves insider, I'm sorry, there's just too much. I just can't say. There was some cool stuff. It was to do with forts and other stuff. But yeah, it looks cool. As I said last week, there's some really, really cool stuff coming up for Sea of Thieves that I can't talk about. But it's all looking quite spicy. In terms of other sort of Xbox games, I know Wasteland 3 isn't a first-party game, or rather that it came out on all platforms. It's getting its first expansion in early June.
Oh, nice.
Battle of Steel Town. They said they're doing 2 expansions, which is cool. I mean, I intend to play Wasteland 3 at some point. It got really good reviews. I do love that type of game, especially coming off the back of Gears Tactics. I mean, can't really go wrong with that.
No, for sure. Yeah, that's cool.
We also have Ubisoft Forward confirmed themselves as the first, like they announced themselves for the 12th, which is arguably the first date of E3. We don't really know yet, but they're in the window. So that's going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. UK time for us over here. Doesn't really mean much, but it gives us kind of a window for when Xbox might be. And it's also interesting that they named their own event, which makes me think that E3 this year was kind of just a scrappy collection. Like everybody had their own event planned, and the ESA was the organisers of E3. We're just like, do you guys want to just do this under the E3 banner? Well, we might as well.
Yeah.
So it's all
Cool.
And then just as we sort of came towards the end of the week, really, we had some weird stuff happening with Square Enix. So Square Enix said, there was some insiders saying that they were looking at potential buyers being bought.
Okay.
And then some people followed that up, including Special Ed from Xbox Era. He said that Xbox is one of the interested buyers, but other insiders also said that other interested buyers were PlayStation and Nintendo. So I don't know, but anyway, ultimately none of it mattered in the end because they put out an official statement saying hi, no. So like we don't want to sell off Square Enix, so let's put that to bed. So
okay.
I mean, who knows? It might have been a thing where, sometimes companies do this, don't they? They like look to see what the interest in their company would be for that sort of thing, or they do it to fuck with us, like shareholder and stock prices. So,
yeah.
But it doesn't seem like anything's actually happening with it. But well, I mean, who knows? But it doesn't seem like
just dangling that carrot.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to see. Yeah.
All right, and as our final item for today, Insider Clobbrill on Twitter, our favourite squirrel boy, closed out the week with some words of tease, some tease of thieves. He closed out the week by saying, quote, "Sometimes there are gaming news which seem to be boring on the surface, but actually are the beginning of something ambitious and have a direct connection to Xbox. That sometimes moment happened this week." And then he said, anyway, happy weekend. And he used the Twitter remind me bot for 28 months later. So, and then he followed it up in a specific tweet and said, this is related to a specific game. Anyway, nothing more on that. It's still a few years out. So,
okay.
I mean, who bloody knows? It could be in reference to anything, but it's just more of like, things are happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be to do with anything. And I'm trying to, given that we literally just covered the news over the last hour and a half, is he referring to anything here? Is he referring to the Square Enix thing? Is he referring to the potential? There was something that happened with Xbox and Unity joining the indie game incubator initiative, which is kind of like a Japanese indie game, initiative movement kind of thing. So it could be to do with that. It could be to do with really anything, but love a tease. Love a good weekend tease.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he said it was related to a specific game, didn't he? So that thing you just said with the that last thing you just mentioned,
the Japanese,
it wasn't a specific game. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he said that it could be the beginning of something ambitious. So like it wouldn't surprise, it could be that, we've partnered with some studios and they've started making some games, Japanese games or Japanese game, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Or it could just be indicative of like a strengthening with Japanese devs in general, resulting in a specific game. Yeah. So yeah. Anything is a stretch at this point, but
it's impossible to predict, but it's exciting nonetheless. It's something to look out for sure. Still a way off though.
Yeah, definitely. Just like all of Xbox's games, am I right?
Yeah. What, all the
Yeah.
way off? Yeah,
Yeah.
2024.
2024, baby. Xbox Series Triple X, baby.
Can't wait to play them all on my Triple X.
Yeah, I know. Well, that does it for everything this week. If you've had a good time listening to the show, please do hit the thumbs up. Please do subscribe. I get to say the notification bell thing. Hit that notification. Smash that notification bell. Smash it. Click your mouse till it breaks.
Yeah.
Wow. I've always wondered what that felt like to say. It doesn't feel good, actually. It doesn't feel as good as I thought it would.
It's weird, isn't it? You know what a lot of people started doing again, like I've seen recently, is they bring up their like subscriber like chart.
Yeah,
and they're just
the
like
retention
they're
model,
like yeah, they're like 80% of people watching this aren't actually subscribed. So it'd be pretty cool if you actually hit that thumbs up, because I do a lot of videos like that, and I'm just like, it's kind of weird. It's very I feel attacked. I feel like I'm forced into
Fuck you,
subscribing.
man. Why aren't you subscribed to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just search shit and I click on a video. I don't need to sub just because I watched one of your videos. But sub. That's not what I'm saying. Sub to us, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? We get like
I'm an
20
idiot.
views a video, and we only have 7 subscribers. So there's 13 of you that aren't subscribed. So
Yeah, and we're fucking great. We're geniuses.
Exactly.
We called that shit before any other podcast.
We called what? What?
The stuff.
What stuff?
The previous stuff we covered.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Before Windows Central.
Oh right, I'm with you. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're bigger than Windows Central. It's no big deal. Hit the notification bell.
It's not like we get most of our news from the people from Windows Central, but yeah. Get subscribed. Excellent. Yeah. Well, I mean, thanks again for joining me, Tim. It's been wonderful. Been a wonderful time. I'm glad we weren't yawning through this episode. So I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go and play my Switch now, and not my Xbox. So see you for Quick Resume episode Switch next week.
Yeah. I'll boot up my Xbox to invite you to a party, and then flick over to my Switch. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a dream.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Sick. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for sticking around. We will speak to you this time next week. And other than that, enjoy your dang weekend. And we'll see you then.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.